Hey everyone, Dr. Frunkey here with a new knife surgery video. These have been a nice fun series that I've done about taking care of your knives, maintaining them, disassembling them, and showing you that it should be easy and it can be easy. And this one looks like it's going to be pretty straightforward. I have not disassembled this knife yet. This is the Graham Razel Midtech. I recently unboxed this on the channel. This is a really cool knife. And I'm very excited to have it in the collection. I'm really looking forward to experiencing this, but I just got this secondhand. I don't usually buy a lot of knives secondhand, and so the first thing I like to do when I do get a secondhand knife is take it apart. So before I ever got started, I kind of felt out, which sizes I was going to need. So you're going to need at least one, probably two T8 Torx bits. So these are T8s that are set here, and there's a T9 for the body screws. So let's just go ahead and get into it right now. I've got my nano oil here. Some people don't like nano oil. It is what it is. It works for me. Moving these over here, let's just, first thing you want to do is open the knife up so that you have access to the pivot. This is going to freely spin within there, so that's why you need this one in the back. Get that locked into place, hold it in position, and just give it some torque. And you will get where you need to go. And there it comes right out, just like that. Pivot screw going in the front. There's some crud falling out of there, presumably some old Loctite or something. Just some crud, basically. Alright, we're going to switch over to our T9 now, and we're going to go for the back of the body here. These were, I don't usually see screws in T9, but these were just a little bit too big for the T8. But these come right out. And disengaging the lock bar, pushing on the pivot like that so that it comes out the other end. That's good. Got it. Oh, bada bing, bada boom. That's why my board has some holes in it, because I keep dropping the blades when I make these videos. There we go. Good. And there we go. Totally disassembled. That was pretty quick. We got a metal ball bearing washers. We got a fairly simple construction. We got some standoffs here. Let's pull the pivot out totally. This knife is pretty clean. It's got some gunk in there. I'm going to do a little maintenance on this. Going to take this over, wash everything. I like to just use rubbing alcohol followed by just some simple soap and water, and then drying it all off really well and getting it really clean. What am I doing sticking that in there? Get it all nice and dry afterwards so that nothing rusts. I think a lot of this is titanium, so that's helpful, but the blade is always steel, at least in this case. Okay, good. So there we go. Knife is disassembled. In just a couple of minutes, we've got this thing apart. So let's take a look at the anatomy of the blade on the inside. I got some crud on my hands here. This is where the stop pin enters when the blade is closed, and this is where when it's open. Fairly simple, straightforward construction. A little bit of gunk in there. I'm going to clean it up, and we're going to see what we can do. I'll be back in a couple of minutes with a clean knife. Alright, now we're back with the cleaned up knife. I like to have these knives open and kind of study the insides just to see where the quality is and maybe where the cost is and maybe where things could be improved. And I do want to show a couple of things on this knife that are rather significant in my opinion, and show where maybe some things could have been slightly improved. So I'm going to go ahead and bring out the presentation scale right here. So this is milled out really nicely. When I bring it back to this side, however, the hole where the ball bearing washer is set to go is ground a bit roughly. There's a fairly sharp lip. I don't know if you can see that. Let me bring this up really close to the camera. There's a rather sharp lip around where that is made, and it wasn't filed down. You can feel that, and it kind of caught on some of the stuff that I was using to clean with. Kind of shredded up some paper towels and pulled off some lint off the rags that I was using. So that was one thing that I noticed that was a little bit off. The thing that really bothered me was when I first got the knife, I noticed that there was just the slightest hint of lock rock. Now that may not have been evident in the unboxing video because that was literally my first experience with the knife, but there was a little bit of lock rock, and I'm going to show you right here what happens when you don't carbonize your titanium lock bar and you don't include a lock bar insert. Can you guys see what's happened right here to the titanium lock bar? It has actually worn away. significantly. It's hard for the camera to focus right there, but that has created a little divot in the lock bar. It's created that little pattern right there. And I'm not sure that that's going to be fixable. I was hoping that by taking this knife apart and then reassembling it, I might work some of that lock rock out of there. Unfortunately, it doesn't look that way. I did address this with the guy that I bought this from. He said that he knew about it, and he sold it to me still. So I'm still happy to contribute to his cause, but that was definitely something that I took a loss on right there. And I'm sharing that with you guys because it's important to know what you're buying and who you're buying it from, and to make sure that everything checks out. You know, I thought this was all on the up and up, but we'll see about that. We'll see how, if any of it comes out after we reassemble the knife here. So let's go ahead and start putting things back together. I'm going to stick the pivot here into the lock side. We're going to get a little bit of my nano oil. I use the 10 weight nano oil. This is my preferred lubricant, mostly because I bought it and I just still have it, and it seems to work pretty well. Every time I make this video, somebody tells me that nano oil is useless and that it's just overpriced garbage, but it really wasn't all that expensive, to be honest. And this little applicator tip is perfect for reassembling knives. This will probably work pretty well for various other applications as well. So just a little bit of lube going on there. I'm actually going to put a little bit of lube on the actual pivot itself so that when the knife kind of falls down on it, it's got some lube actually on the pivot itself. That should be more than enough. Let's get the blade on there. Always want the flat part of these ball bearing washers facing the blade. That's the way that it usually is designed to go. Put this stuff over here. Alright, I'm going to leave a little bit of oil on the blade on this side rather than on the washer. Again, flat part towards the blade. Throw a little bit more in there. I always put way too much, but I like to have too much of that lube in there. So this is going to be the complicated part here. I probably didn't think this through very well. I'm going to need to stick these screws in here. There's one. Just don't fall out. And then here's another one. Oh, come on. Go in. Come on now. This is always fun, isn't it? Kind of exploring how the hell to put these things back together. That's why I enjoy making these videos. Sometimes I screw up. I don't really want to remake these particular videos because these take a lot of time. Oh boy, there goes one of the standoffs trying to roll off my table. Got it. Okay, well, this is very nearly impossible to do for some reason. At least I know the tolerances on these screws are pretty good. Fairly simple thing to do right here, and I am completely failing. Alright, here we go, here we go, here we go. Good, we got that. Now we're going to gently screw standoff onto it so that it's sort of locked in place, at least for now. Good. Both of these are somewhat secured anyways. We can lock them down a little bit more in a minute. Alright, bring in our presentation scale. Fit that into place. No real localizing mechanism here. The Apostle P would be losing his mind. You know, these are totally flat right here. So that is going to be the adventure to try to figure out. Let's go ahead and drop these screws in, so maybe that'll help us figure out where they need to go. Pull out our T9 again. See what we can do about lining her up. There we go. Let's see if we can get these to catch since we're down here. I don't know if we're really in it. I also don't know if it's staying still enough or if it's just freely floating right there. Let's see. I'm going to look at this. Actually, looks like they both might have caught a little bit. That's fine. That's good. Look what I left out. Well, I feel stupid. That is the fun of these videos. Always figuring out the stupid things that I do so that you don't do them. You got to put your stop pin back in. Good. A bunch of different places to localize here without any real localizing pieces. So hopefully this works a little bit this time. Okay, I think I caught it a little bit there. And maybe I caught it again a little bit there. Maybe. Alright. Try to get our pivot screw in place. Started out a little bit with our T8 driver. I cleaned off everything. For those of you who are curious, I usually start out by cleaning everything with a little bit of rubbing alcohol. And then I clean everything just with some warm soap and water. That tends to work the best. And then I make sure everything gets really dry. Really dry. There we go, that's screwing in. Held in place on the contralateral side there by my finger. Alright. Everything is going according to plan for now. I see that this is going to give me a bear of a time. Alright. Going to need our T8 on the other side here. Good. I like using that tool right there because it gives me a pretty good grip and allows me to hold pretty solid counter torque so that this will screw right in just like that. Get those final few degrees of turn. And then let's turn our attention to the back of the knife here where we're going to get our standoffs realigned. Try to take the stress off the frame. This is not going to be kind to me, it looks like. These are just going to want to freely spin. Yeah, that's just freely spinning right there. So that is super annoying. Let's see if we can close the knife. It's centered right now, so that's nice at least. Maybe, just maybe, using a T8 on the other side will be enough grip to allow this to actually work. Yep. This is fun, isn't it? Watching Dr. Frunkey screw around with his knives. Come on. Oh, man. That is really just very sensitive. Okay, well, let's try the bottom one. It's very easy to make that fall over onto this side. That's strange. Okay. Sometimes I've noticed if you pinch the frame, it prevents those things from spinning, so you can get your screws in a little bit better. I've seen that on other knives. Whoops. Sorry about that. For whatever reason, my camera here has a 10-minute hard cutoff time for recording videos, so I was actually able to get those screws back into place by a combination of pinching the frame really hard and finding it out. It seems that they maybe had been cross-threaded in the past, and perhaps they're a little bit off, but the action is now significantly smoother that I got the crud out of there. Let's get it past the detent ball. There it goes, closes just like that. Just past the detent ball right there. It's pretty far. Falls right into place. And look, no lock rock at all. So it seems that taking this apart and putting it back together and cleaning it off has taken away that little bit of lock rock. Although I will stand by the fact that that non-carbonized lock bar that's got a lot of wear might be kind of ugly. It does have a little bit of lock stick right now, but I usually throw a little bit of pencil on there, and that's just a standard graphite pencil. That is my recommendation for any knife with lock stick. Anybody who tells you to put all this other stuff onto a knife, whether it's some kind of goo or gunk or whatever, I don't know, man. I have had amazing luck with pencils, and this is legitimately all I do. The area where you see that the lock bar locks up with the knife, just paint it all over with some graphite. And there it goes. Lock stick, totally gone. Completely gone. And now no lock rock. So I have officially improved the quality of this knife, taken out lock rock, made it smoother, and gotten rid of lock stick, all in one quick video for you guys. So these are just some small recommendations that I can make. Yep, still I'm just testing it now. Super smooth, perfectly centered. Gonna enjoy the hell out of this knife now. So thanks for watching, guys. Oh, there goes my pager. I am in fact a doctor, and I have some work to do. So I appreciate it, y'all. Have a good day, and as always, this is Dr. Frunkey saying take care.